It is a big day for several criminal cases involving former President Donald Trump, one in New York and two in Georgia.
We're joined now live by former federal prosecutor Neama Rahmani to break it all down for us because it does get confusing. Neama, thanks for joining us this morning. Let's start in New York. A judge there just set a trial date in Trump's hush money case. What are we expecting there? We thought that time would be on his side and maybe the trial would be delayed, but that's not the way it's going.
No, Rudab, it's not. And the fact that Trump has been so successful in delaying the other cases in Washington, D.C., Atlanta, and South Florida, that actually harmed him in this New York case. So we're actually going to get a criminal trial for Donald Trump starting next month. And of course, he's faced civil liability in the Jean Carroll defamation cases and the New York civil case. But this is the first time Donald Trump will actually face the possibility of jail time. And even though this is the least serious of the four criminal cases, it's going to be interesting to see how Trump defends this. Does he argue that these payments made to former lawyer Michael Cohen were actually legal fees? Or does he admit to actually making the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels, but argue that they were to protect his family and they had nothing to do with the 2016 campaign? That's important because if the payments weren't in furtherance of or to cover up another crime, those charges will be reduced from felonies to less serious misdemeanors.
And Neama, also in New York, a judge is reportedly going to issue his decision in the civil fraud case on Friday. So play out the scenarios for us. What will it mean for Trump, his children, also his businesses?
Rachel, there's a lot at stake in that case, even though it's not a criminal case, because Judge Engoron there really tipped his hand before trial. He granted partial summary judgment saying that Trump and his organizations actually committed fraud. And I expect tomorrow for the judge to issue a nine-figure or more than $100 million judgment. And even for someone with the net worth of Donald Trump, that's going to hurt him financially. And of course, the judge may also cancel his New York business licenses and order the dissolution of those entities, which is going to do a lot of harm to both Trump, his children, and his corporations there.
And let's go now to Georgia, another case there, and it involves the Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis, who is prosecuting the election interference case. Some might say this is a personal issue, but it involves someone who's also working on the case. So what's at stake for her? Why is the timing of this case so important?
Well, it's very important because the Fulton County case was the last of the four criminal cases to be charged, and there's no trial date yet. And now you have the district attorney there who's really on the defense. She's accused, of course, of having an inappropriate relationship with a special prosecutor, Nathan Wade, that she hired. She essentially is alleged to have hired her boyfriend and paid him a lot of money. Now, this may be inappropriate, it may be an ethics issue, and it's probably very embarrassing for the district attorney, but I don't think it's actually going to affect the merits of the case because they're both on the same side. There's no conflict of interest. So even though this may be something that's embarrassing for the district attorney, I don't think it's going to result in the dismissal of the case there in Atlanta against Trump or any of the co-defendants. At worst, they may be disqualified, and career prosecutors at the district attorney or the attorney general's office may have to step in and take over.
Yeah, but improper behavior, if it's true, which she's admitted to some of it, right?
She has admitted to a personal relationship. Now, she's arguing that this relationship took place after Wade was hired. But either way, if you're handling probably the most politically charged prosecution in American history, and you're District Attorney Willis, you should be a lot more careful. So this is something that's extremely foolish at best and unethical at worst. And she's really on the run here, and it's really a shame because it's really distracting attention from the facts and the law in the case.
And Neama, before we let you go, are any of these cases going to interfere? There was a lot of speculation about these cases will be put off to allow him to campaign because he is the leading Republican frontrunner and presidential candidate, but that doesn't seem to be the case.
Well, Rudolph, Trump's defense has always been delayed because if he's reelected in November, all his criminal problems go away. And he's done a very good job of delaying the classified documents case, using some procedural rules there. We don't have a trial date yet. And the D.C. case is stayed or paused while his presidential immunity appeal is pending, first in the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. Now he's going to the U.S. Supreme Court. And of course, in Atlanta, there's no trial date at all. So to the extent that Trump and his lawyers can continue to push back or delay these cases until after the election, whether using procedural rules or arguing that he needs time to campaign, that all benefits the former president.
Okay, Neama Rahmani, thank you so much for joining us.